really excited to do this one.
I know you dug this one.
Whatever.
My theme. Gets me every time.
Wait, shh.
One more. That's the last one.
You should have added one more for suspense.
No, people are expecting one more and then you don't get it. It's very unsettling.
Tension. All right. I actually have a big fact right out of the batch, folks. This is Asylum 1972, and it was written by the author of Psycho, Robert Bloch.
Yeah, and this is an Amicus production. They were a British production company. They did Tales from the Crypt also, which is another kind of horror story anthology. And they also did the Phibes movies. And this is a collection of 4 scary stories, a terror tetralogy a la Tales from the Crypt, which we'll obviously be covering in a little while, a couple of seasons from now. Many, many seasons from now.
Not that many. We're on A.
You're as bad with the alphabet as I am.
And the through line of this movie, where all these tales are told, is a new doctor arriving at a hospital for the incurably insane.
Hey, let's do a quick improv scene. So I'm a doctor at this asylum, and you're a patient there asking whether you can go home now. Okay, go.
Okay. Hi. Can I go home now?
Oh, Serling, what are you doing out of your room?
I want to go home. I'm bored.
Yeah, we seem to go through this a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
You're incurably insane, Serling. So you
who gave me that title?
Go anywhere. Well, you're here, aren't you? And this
Yes.
is an asylum for the incurably insane, isn't
You
it?
put me here.
Look, how you came to be here is not my problem. I've done everything I could. Look, we gave you that aspirin the one time. We tried some art therapy. Look, my hands are tied. You are incurably insane.
I'm supposed to go see a movie tonight with all my friends.
Yeah,
My buddies.
I understand your dilemma. Do you understand mine? You're incurably insane. I can offer you this cafeteria coupon for a free fruit cup at dinner tonight.
Are you beeping kidding me?
You want it or not? Going?
Gimme.
Okay. Very good. Good job.
Thank you.
We're going to say this right off the bat. We're going to have to spoil things up front for this one. Otherwise, we'd have to be setting up 4 different stories, and then you would have to remember each of them enough to have us come back later and get into the detail about each of the 4 stories. We don't expect that kind of attention from you. That would be crazy. That would put us into the very asylum that frames this movie.
Jeez, Dad, relax.
I'm getting excited.
Oh my God. So, this new doctor.
Yeah, tell us about him.
Okay. Dr. Martin, who we get to experience these stories through, shows up at this mental asylum and is expecting to meet with a Dr. Starr. But instead, he's greeted by the warden in charge, Rutherford. Odd, suspicious, strange. Rutherford is in a wheelchair because of an attack by one of the patients there. Rutherford offers a challenge to Dr. Martin. One of the patients here right now, currently, is Dr. Starr. And there are 4 patients here. Can he and you guess which is Dr. Starr?
And don't just think it's a man,
Yeah,
because women can be doctors too, even in 1972, amazingly.
Lovely.
Forward-thinking movie, this. Okay, so Dr. Martin is game for the game. I'll pick out your Dr. Starr from the lunatics I'm about to meet, and then I get the job here at this insane institution for the insane. So Rutherford, who, by the way, is played by Patrick McGee, also going to be coming up in Mask of the Red Death. He's also in Tales from the Crypt. He's also in A Clockwork Orange, which we're not going to be watching. But Rutherford buzzes Dr. Martin up into the patient wing upstairs, where an orderly, Max, greets him and unlocks the first door and introduces our first potential Dr. Star. Take it, Serling.
Here is Frozen in Fear.
It was just Frozen Fear.
Huh?
Frozen Fear. Because the freezer in it, in the story, remember? There's the freezer that he put... The freezer. He buys the... Go.
We don't see her face, but this is Bonnie. I love that name, Bonnie. Didn't you go on a date with her in like the second grade?
Continue. It ended badly.
Why?
Well, for me.
Tell me later. Tell me.
Okay. Bonus episode.
Dad's life story.
Dad's history of unrequited love.
Back to the story. She tells Dr. Martin she was having an affair with a married man who absolutely loathed his wife so much that he and Bonnie plotted to kill her. But his wife had a dabbling with the occult, so there were some complications. Mm-hmm. The husband kills her anyway because he's stupid and cuts her into pieces with a hatchet.
Because he's violent.
Yeah. He wraps them in butcher's paper and stores them in the brand new basement freezer, which was a surprise for her that she, right before her murder, seemed to be quite pleased with. Anyway, she's dead now, and wrapped up in pieces in the freezer. But a little later, the husband seems to be haunted by his deed and sees the wrapped paper head has made its way up the basement stairs and is staring at him, breathing inside the brown paper.
Freaky.
Ugh.
You did not like that. I mean, you liked it. You
yeah,
like
it was interesting. We'll get into that. Bonnie shows up to meet him a little later, but he's nowhere to be found, of course. She goes down to the basement, nothing in the freezer, because the dead wife's parts are all over the place and they literally attack her. Oh, and also the husband is dead.
Right.
She grabs the murder weapon and starts whacking at the hand that is strangling her. Too crazy to believe, huh? Well, she finally turns around to prove her story to Dr. Martin by showing him her hacked up face as evidence.
Yeah. End of story 1. I wonder if that's our Dr. Star. Next, we meet the struggling tailor Bruno, who's played by Barry Morse, taking a break from chasing down David Jansen, to make a suit, a very strange suit for Peter Cushing. And Peter has very unique, bizarre, and detailed specifications for how this suit must be made. Bruno can only work on it from midnight to 5 a.m., and it is to be made from a very special, weird, glowing material that General Tarkin supplies. Bruno makes the suit just in time and delivers it to Peter Cushing at his home. Bruno expects to collect the money and be able to pay the back rent that he owes, but there's a problem. Peter Cushing is as destitute as Bruno, but he assures Bruno that he will have the money once his son arrives. Turns out, the weird suit is for his son, who is dead and lying in a coffin in the next room.
Lovely.
Black magic is intended to be used to reanimate the son, but Bruno is horrified and enraged, and a struggle ensues that kills Peter Cushing. Bruno absconds with the suit and takes the book of black magic that the suit's instructions were taken from with him. Bruno gets home and orders his wife to burn the suit. But instead, she puts it on Otto, one of the shop's creepy mannequins. And can you guess what happens next? Because that's what drove Bruno incurably insane and landed him here. Dr. Star potential number 2.
Well, now this is number 3. This is Lucy Comes to Stay. Our friendly, orderly Max then escorts Dr. Martin to the room of Barbara, who is expecting a lawyer to help exonerate her from the crime that put her where she is. She tells the story of her friend Lucy, who showed up quite unexpectedly and seemingly out of nowhere after Barbara's brother, George, had picked Barbara up from the previous hospital she has been staying at. George takes Barbara home where she meets Miss Higgins. She seems like a very nice lady.
She did.
She's a nurse who George had hired to help care for Barbara. Barbara was happy to see Lucy at first, But Lucy wanted Barbara to come away with her, escape her overbearing brother, and go see the world and live. But Barbara is a little unsure about this and how much care she might really need. Too late. Lucy is fed up with Barbara's indecisiveness and takes matters into her own hands, killing both George in his easy chair by the fire and Miss Higgins in a very Psycho-esque sequence.
Yeah. And we got Charlotte Rampling here playing Barbara, very young Charlotte Rampling, and Britt Eklund, a Bond girl who plays Lucy. Remember?
No.
She's in,
yeah.
She's in what's a
Man with the Golden Gun. Good,
Yeah.
Miss Goodnight, right?
Yes.
You hated her.
I hate that whole movie.
What about Knick-Knack?
Oh, I like Knick-Knack.
Barbara finishes telling her story to Dr. Martin and then points out that Lucy is in the room with them. Of course she is, because she is indeed Barbara. Yeah. Lucy is Barbara. Barbara is Lucy.
Yeah.
And Barbara is pointing to a mirror reflecting Lucy back to everyone except her. Freaky! That's say it. I don't know how to say it.
Groovy.
Barbara probably... No, scratch that. Definitely...
Yeah, I'm going to double down on definitely deserves
to be in a facility for the incurably insane. Let's see if Dr. Martin thinks the last patient that he is scheduled to meet deserves their fate.
Now we've got Mannequins of Madness. And now we've got Dr. Byron. That's right. Doctor is right there in his name. Could this be the mystery solved? Could this be Dr. Martin's Dr. Starr? Let's find out. Dr. Byron, Herbert Lom, who played the Phantom of the Opera in Hammer's very good 1968 version, actually, he's eager to show off his work to a fellow colleague. Oh, it's nice to meet a colleague.
Yeah.
He has been allowed to continue with his very peculiar work while confined to the hospital because it offers a sort of therapy and comfort for him. He makes tiny humanoid robots about 10 inches high with an all-metal torso and a human-looking head. And he's got dozens of these things that he's made, and each seems to represent someone significant to him. One, in fact, is an effigy of Rutherford, the warden downstairs, who let Dr. Martin in and started this whole thing off. And that's the one who gets put to work, following Dr. Martin as he heads back downstairs to have a talk with Rutherford now that he's decided who his pick is for who the real Dr. Starr is. And as they're talking back down in the study, Rutherford's tiny mannequin climbs up onto the desk behind him, secures a razor-sharp letter opener, and rams it into the back of Rutherford's skull. All this as the ultra-pleased-looking Dr. Byron is experiencing it all through his own consciousness because he is psychically intertwined with his tiny works of art. Freaky.
The end. What's that you say?
Yeah, what?
Which patient ended up being Dr. Starr?
Oh.
I know we're supposed to spoil things in this portion of the pod, but I say we leave everyone hanging on this one.
Evil! What do you mean?
I mean that we'll post the answer on our website or something. Make them work for it a little.
I love it. Recommended age?
Bit of blood, a little bit of violence, but pretty safe and accessible. I'd say about 10, my age.
Yeah, I was going to go 10, 11. I'll go 11. Go watch this sucker, right?
Let's go into our deep dive. Spoilers off. Dad, what do you think of this movie? Because I loved it.
I know, you really liked this movie, huh? That made me very happy. I like this movie a lot, too. It's the second time I've seen this, and the first time was within the last, 10 years. But I liked it more the second time. I think because the first time around, maybe I was comparing it to, Tales from the Crypt, the other Amicus-produced horror anthology thing. But it was also really fun watching it with you, too. So what did you like about it?
Well, I liked, what was it called? The first one, Frozen
Freezers of Fear? A Frozen Fear?
Frozen Fear, yeah, I liked that
I'm
one.
Afraid of the Freezer?
I liked the acting in this.
Yeah, no, acting's really solid in this. I love Herbert Lom.
Oh,
He and Peter Cushing are taking their roles very seriously, despite the craziness of it all. But all the leads are pretty good.
I loved the ending. Ending was incredible.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
I think you like horror stories with an element of mystery to them. You like something to figure out and chew over when you're watching it. That's your bag. I'm with you. I love the fun setup. A doctor walks into a home for the incurably insane. It sounds like the start of a joke that like Edgar Allan Poe might have written back in the day. Love the breathing severed head in the first story.
Oh, yes.
That fake but real moment. That's another term we should patent. Like something that looks very fake, but it still has a really cool, definite impact on you, right?
Okay.
Give me one more plus for you, and I'll give my last plus, and then we'll go into it.
You go.
All right, I love Otto in the second story, the creepy mannequin. Oh, he's creepy looking at the very beginning, and then when you find out, Bruno's like, what did you do with the suit? She's like, I put it on Otto. You're like, oh, crud.
Oh, yes.
And then he starts walking, starts lumbering through the store.
I didn't even think of that. Otto's still alive. No one can stop him. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what that suit is capable of.
Yeah, Otto's running around London, having the time of his life in a sharp-looking suit.
All right, minuses. And then we'll go on to Class of 1979.
You give me your minuses first. I have two ones sort of half minus.
It was a bit slow at first.
Oh, okay.
But I did like the whole setup of it. I feel like...
Speaking of a bit slow.
I was a bit bored with one of them.
Which one? Which was your least favorite of the four?
I'm going to go with Lucy. Kind of bored me. I mean, I liked the whole pills situation, but those pills are drugs, and, like, no one needs to know that.
Well, I think that's the point. Like, she needs these pills because they keep her from seeing Lucy. Lucy doesn't want her to be taking the pill because Lucy wants to be taking more and more control of Barbara. I'm going to agree with you that I think that's the least fun of the stories.
See,
but there's a reason why they buried it and put it number 3.
I didn't understand it until you just explained it just now.
But do you kind of get it now, right?
Yeah. Yours?
My minus that's kind of also a plus is the Dr. Byron, his robots. They're simultaneously the worst and best part of this movie. Because they're so crazy.
So fake.
They're so crazy and fake looking. But they're great too. But they do jar me out of the story just a little bit at first introduction. Even the second time watching this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the real minus I had was the acting at the very end. When you find out who the real Dr. Starr is, it just gets a little too crazy, borderline irritating for me. But I think that may have been because I was so on board with like the previous 97% of the movie that just that last little bit just sat with me the wrong way.
Let's do the Class of 1972.
Good.
Last House on the Left.
Wes Craven's, I think, first horror movie, yeah.
Dracula AD 1972.
Yeah, well, that would figure. That tracks. That's Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee are in that one.
Oh.
That's another Hammer.
Vampire Circus.
Oh, I think that's Hammer also. That's a great, crazy trip of a movie.
Blackula.
Yep, the exploitation version of Dracula.
Silent Night, Bloody Night.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I thought the first killer Santa movie was Silent Night, Deadly Night, but that's like 10, 12 years after this.
Horror Express.
You got Christopher Lee, you got Peter Cushing, and you've got one of the Blofelds from one of the Bond movies, the one Bond movie that you haven't seen. But that's a weird tale, too. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Frogs.
Say that one more time.
Frogs.
Oh, I can't wait. Say it. Give me one minute.
Frogs.
Can't wait.
Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy.
Yep. Haven't seen that one. That's the one with a necktie killer, I think.
Ben.
Big rat.
Bug.
Big bug, I guess.
The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh, The Legend of Boggy Creek? You know me. I'm a Bigfoot guy. So that's a Bigfoot movie. It tries to come off as a documentary.
Move on.
Can we just talk? Can we talk for 45 more minutes about Bigfoot?
No!
All right, bonus episode.
Countless Dracula, don't
Countless
torture
Dracula or Countess Dracula? It does feel like countless Dracula movies. So I could see it going either way.
Don't torture a duckling.
That is a famous Giallo film. I think that's Fulci also.
Invasion of the Blood Farmers.
You made that one up. Continue.
No, I didn't. It's on here.
Really?
Yes. Gargoyles.
That was your first word.
Gargoyle.
You don't believe me that was your first word.
Oh,
do you?
no, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah. You were swinging your little swing. I was putting out the Halloween decorations, and I was putting up a big gargoyle, and you, sure enough, said gargoyle. We were destined to be making this podcast.
Children shouldn't play with dead things. It's a life lesson.
Good advice. Yeah, can't argue with that.
Deathline.
Donald Pleasance is in that one. I want to see that one. That's, I think, the first subway tunnel cannibal creature movie, I think. We'll check that out.
Night of the Lepus?
Yes. Do you know what a lepus is?
Nope.
That's the genus of, it's like a kind of rabbit. So, yeah, Night of the Lepus, giant rabbits.
Hold on, let me
Peter
bring
Graves
Bun Bun
has
in
to
here.
deal with them. And he's the pilot in Airplane. So, he should be up to the task. As long as he doesn't have the fish.
Sisters.
Brian De Palma with Margot Kidder, who we just watched in Amityville Horror. She's in that one. That's a good movie.
Tombs of a Blind Dead.
I've heard of it, never seen it.
And our last one, 3 on a Meat Hook.
Classy way to end.
Right.
Oh, but there's more. Dr. Phibes Rises Again, the sequel to Dr. Phibes. That was released this year.
Oh.
But you're also actually, Serling, you're forgetting my favorite. Here's my favorite movie from 1972. You ready?
No, Dad.
The rats are coming. The werewolves are here. With 2 exclamation marks. That's perfectly encapsulated multitasking risk management. So, Serling, if I came up to you screaming to you that the werewolves are here, Serling, and you were like, well, okay, but the rats are going to be coming any day now. Well, mine is more important because they're werewolves and they're here. And you go, yeah, I understand that, but yuck, rats? And I'm like, no, we could just climb up on a table or something. They're just rats. I'm talking werewolves and they are banging on the door right now.
I don't care.
You get the idea, though. Greatest movie title ever.
Not to give you all nightmares.
Let's give them some nightmares by talking about SGS moments. So we talked about the breathing head in the butcher paper.
Yeah.
So that was one.
That was
Serling
That was squeamish.
Yeah.
But it was so cool how they did it.
It was neat. And you hear it breathing in. It's like, hey, we're doing Foley work now.
Where did you get that piece of paper?
This place is a mess. What else? Oh.
The strangling hand when it goes.
When it first comes down from the rafters.
Oh no, not that. With the husband where it goes.
Oh, okay. So there were 2 SGS moments in Frozen Fear.
Yeah.
And then there was one in Lucy Comes to Stay too. Mrs. Higgins getting stabbed at the top of the stairs.
Because I liked her.
So you had 3 SGS moments in this movie, at least.
Yeah.
Let's do Coolest Kill.
I know mine.
You do yours because I got mine.
You say yours.
But you're not just going to say, "Oh, that's mine too."
I swear, if it's the same as mine.
All right, let's say the name of the character on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The
Rutherford.
wife.
Oh, good. So you go.
I like the wife being stored in the.
Oh, so the actual wife who gets murdered.
Yeah, it's such a smart way to do it.
How? Oh, but chopping her up into pieces and
Yes.
wrapping her in paper and putting her in a freezer.
I don't
So
know
you
why, but I
approve
liked
of
it.
the method of execution.
It made me squeamish, so yes, I like it. I like being squeamish.
All right. No, that's cool. I was going to say Rutherford because you want him to just turn around. You got that little robotic thing carrying the letter opener towards the back of his head, and it's just moving and moving. You want him to turn around. I think the way it's edited together, and then all of a sudden he just goes, "Gah!" I really believed that Patrick McGee was getting stabbed in the back of the skull with a Ginsu-style letter opener. So that was my favorite kill. And now, let's hear it. Oh, yeah. Climbing up the charts. The fight, flight, freeze. So this is where we talk about the 3 reactions that a person can have when they're scared out of their minds. Who's going to fight, which characters fly out of there trying to get away, and which freeze and just allow the evil to overtake them. So.
Oh, I have one for freeze.
Good. We can start with that.
Maybe Miss Higgins, but of course the wife.
The wife in Frozen Fear?
Yeah,
oh, because she's in a freezer. Is that what,
I'm
is that what you
leaving.
meant to say? Oh, you didn't even mean to make that joke?
No, I did not.
Well, thank you for teeing it up for me. That was classic. Bruno also freezes when Otto's attacking him. Barbara spends most of her time in her story paralyzed either by indecision or confusion or terror.
True.
Who do you go with Flight? We'll work our way back to Fight. I guess it's just Bruno, right? Because he takes the book and then he tries to run away. But he also fights because Peter Cushing reveals the plan to reanimate his son with this suit. And he wants no part of this and he tries to fight Peter Cushing. And Lucy fights to break free from Barbara's control, you could say.
True. Oh, also the wife fights because she goes, I will get my revenge.
It's true. She fights back from beyond the grave. Bonnie fights a little, but not too well. Hard to fight 17 pieces of a body that's coming at you from every which way.
I think that sums it up.
I think so too.
Let's talk about our next episode.
No, let's talk Tomato.
Ah, yes.
What do you think this got on Rotten Tomatoes?
In the 60s?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like
upper
67?
60s or lower 60s?
67?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
67.
Say it one more time for me.
67!
That is exactly correct. This got 67% on Rotten
Wait, hold on.
Tomatoes.
I just want to talk about this. I do not have a script next to me.
No, you don't. That was tremendous. So this movie is tied with Thor, The Dark World.
Oh, God.
The Rock with your man, Sean Connery.
Yeah.
It's the older Sean Connery. It's an action movie. And some people think that his character is supposed to be James Bond, who was like caught and imprisoned for a crime and now has to break out. World War Z, Rollerball, which is a great movie starring the great James Caan. And his picture's up every time I go to pick up Thai food from the place we order from. I see James Caan's picture there because it was his favorite Thai food place. Rest in peace, Jimmy Caan.
Oh, he's dead?
He is.
Let's have a moment of silence.
Okay, just a moment because we're going long.
1, 2.
Yeah. Another movie is 67%. Rubber. That's the one about the killer tire.
Huh?
Yep. One higher than this, The Blob. Oh. Next season, folks. Stay tuned to find out. Stay tuned beyond that, but stay. The TV version of It, starring one of your favorites.
Oh.
Who's Rooster and the guy in Clue? Just say Tim Curry. Jesus.
Tim Curry.
Independence Day, alien invasion movie, and Cliffhanger, Rocky Climbs a Mountain. One lower than this at 66%. You have The Godfather 3 in 3D. Anchorman 2, Krampus. There's some more Christmas horror after Silent Night, Bloody Night earlier. The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, which we tried to watch like last week. Do you remember the story I told you about Mission Impossible when Daddy went to the premiere?
Oh, yes.
Who was I really excited to see and who did I not like seeing?
You were excited to see Billy Squier?
Yeah, Billy Squier was there with Danny Fields, who's a famous publicist and journalist. And who was I not psyched to be there with?
Donald Trump.
Yeah. Future president and future first lady.
What about the Bondometer?
Okay, so we've got a Live and Let Die 67 here. And that's right between Diamonds Are Forever and Quantum of Solace, both at 65%. And For Your Eyes Only comes up at 69%. So it's wedged in between those. All right, where do you put this on your fearometer? Give it to me. This is the second to last movie we're doing this season. So we're going to do a wrap-up show where we talk about what was the scariest movie we watched this season, what was the most fun.
3.
You give this a 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give this a 3.5. I liked the breathing head. I liked Creepy Otto, other effective moments. I'm surprised we're only going 3 on this. Where do you put this on fun? I'm going to go 8.
I'm going to go 7.5. I was going to give it an 8, but I can't.
No, you can give it an 8.
Oh, I can?
Yeah. So you're going to give it an 8 and a 3. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to compare this one to the Tales from the Crypt anthology.
Bonus episode.
We're going to be busy with these bonus episodes.
I know.
Next time, this is the end.
My fatal friend, the end.
We're going to be hitting the final movie of our first season, and here's your hint.
Sorry.
So, Serling, you can play along. Before we do an all-out attack on the bees of the of the, stick that in between there. Serling, what's an example of a decapod? Not a DDSH pod, a decapod. What was Tamatoa?
Crab.
Monsters.
Crab.
Monsters. Next time. But meanwhile, tell a buddy, subscribe,
Attack of
email
the Crab Monster.
ddshpod.com, like, review, positively.
Subscribe, please. We're poor on
Do
subscribers.
everything to get us noticed and
Next
rich.
time on
Daddy.
Daughter
Scary.
Horror. Have a great day.
Done.
Peace.